Man, what a wild game that was. I don't even really know where to start. So much happened. There were so many guys that start, and the Dodgers come out on top 8-6.
All right, I'll try and clean it up.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
It's on you.
I mean, we saw a little bit of probably the most entertaining ball game of the year. We saw the offense. We saw Will Smith, Andy Pius. We saw Doc get riled up, get thrown out. We saw some bean balls. We saw some great pitching. We saw some huge moments. I'm exhausted after tonight. I really am.
And tomorrow, something to look forward to again. Emmett Sheehan makes his return from Tommy John surgery.
Excited to see Emmett back, and could be a key cog. I mean, he's thrown well. He seems to have come back in a good frame. But again, we're going to probably have a bullpen game, and we're going to have all hands on deck. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
As long as Yamamoto can go 9 on Thursday, it'd be fine, right? Dodgers have won their 4th consecutive game, first time in a month and a half. They can say that.
Andy, big night for you tonight. 4 hits, 2 home runs. Can you describe just the zone that you're in right now?
Buenas noches para ti, 4 hits, 2 jonrones. ¿Puedes describir cómo estás bateando o cómo te sientes en el plato ahorita?
Sí, confiado en el trabajo que vengo haciendo, trabajando en mi rutina todos los días, estudiando los pitches, tratando de buscar los buenos picheos en la zona y tratar de conectarlo bien.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of confidence in the work I'm putting in, have a lot of confidence in my plan, what I'm doing at the plate to prepare for the games, and finding pitches in my zone and hitting them as well as I can.
How emotional of a game was it tonight?
¿Tú piensas que las emociones del juego, o cómo te sentiste en las emociones de este juego?
No, simplemente, o sea, obviamente quiero ganar la serie y eso es un empuje para mí. Y yo creo que sí, ese poquito de adrenalina siempre está ahí, y yo creo que el día de hoy estuvo ahí conmigo.
Yeah, we want to win. We want to win the series. We want to play hard. I think that adrenaline's always with me, but it's obviously a little bit more heightened right now.
What did you think about Tatis being hit and then them hitting Ohtani? Do you feel like it spilled over from last night, or do you feel like they hit Ohtani on purpose?
¿Qué piensas sobre que le pegaron a Ohtani, le pegaron a Tatis? ¿Tú piensas que era algo que salió de la noche pasada, o tú piensas que le pegaron a Tatis o a Ohtani
Yo creo que ninguno de los dos fue a propósito, y tampoco me imagino que haya sido por lo de anoche, porque, o sea, ya eso para mí quedó atrás. Espero que para ellos también, y sí, conmigo yo no tengo rencor, simplemente dejo eso ahí y ya.
Yeah, I don't think anything was on purpose. You know, obviously last night was last night. I think guys missed pitches, and I don't think anything carried over or spilled over from last night at all.
How much would making the All-Star team mean to you?
¿Qué significa para ti si tú puedes llegar al juego de las estrellas?
Obviamente un gran logro, ya que o sea, un All-Star Game es algo bueno para todos los jugadores que quieren estar. Pero como digo siempre, si me toca ir, pues voy, y si no me toca, pues no me toca.
Yeah, it'd be amazing, you know, it'd be a great feat for myself, but obviously, like I said yesterday, if it's out of my hands, if I get there, it'd be awesome. If I don't, it's something that I can control.
Did you see the clip last night of what Schilt was saying in the dugout when you and Cease were having your thing?
¿Tuviste el video de lo que dijo el manager sobre ti cuando te pegaron?
Sí, lo vi, o sea, no ayer mismo, lo vi hoy en la mañana cuando me desperté, pero no le presté importancia porque ya eso había pasado, y yo, como te digo, dejé eso ahí.
Yeah, I actually saw it this morning. Obviously didn't pay much attention to it. I left yesterday's game behind, and I focused on today.
Did you get any more satisfaction like having that good of a game, especially after yesterday?
¿Te agarras más satisfacción cuando como jugaste hoy, especialmente como lo que pasó anoche?
Yo diría que un día como hoy, o sea, como me fue a mí hoy, todo jugador se sentiría feliz por eso, y no, nada que ver con lo de ayer. Simplemente yo salí hoy a hacer lo mejor que ayer, y las cosas salieron.
Yeah, I think anyone that has a game like I had today would be happy about the results. Obviously I left yesterday's game in the past, and I just focused on today.
And Andy, not long after Ohtani got hit and Dave got ejected, you had your second home run to tie the game. Just how did it feel getting the energy back on your side with everything going on?
Cuando le pegaron a Ohtani y sacaron a Dave, tú empataste el juego con otro cuadrangular. ¿Cómo se sintió para empatar el juego en ese momento?
No, se sintió bien, pero fue un poco como en el momento fue un poco frustrante lo del picheo a Ohtani, pero porque sabemos que estamos hablando del mejor jugador de este juego, y nadie quiere verlo fuera del juego por alguna lesión o algo. Entonces fue un poco frustrante, pero gracias a Dios todo salió bien, no lo lastimaron.
Yeah, it was great. Great to start the game. Great to have that hit in that moment, but obviously it was a little frustrating to see Otani, see one of the greatest hitters in the league get hit like that. Luckily, nothing happened and no injuries from it, but obviously it was a little frustrating to see him get hit by a pitch.
When you see your manager get ejected like that, does that kind of fire you up as a team, like a little extra?
Cuando ves al manejador que lo sacan del juego, ¿tú piensas que agrega adrenalina, agrega algo para ustedes para competir mejor o más fuerte?
Sí, obviamente cuando esas cosas pasan, de que viene un pelotazo para acá, otro para allá, siempre viene ese empujón de adrenalina para todos los jugadores. Pero yo creo que él lo que hizo fue defender a su jugador y yo creo que lo que hizo estuvo correcto.
Yeah, I think in situations like that, when you see a guy get hit from their side, from our side, you see guys get a little bit more pumped up, a little bit more adrenaline running through them, and then obviously like when you see the manager get kicked out of the game defending our guys, you obviously want to put a better foot forward.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
Well, outside, I didn't have a chance to ask you about what took place in the 7th inning where Tatis came off the bag and the home plate umpire may have called the time a little bit early. What was going on there and what was the explanation?
Yeah, the umpire called time at home. Yeah, I thought he called it a little early. You know, the ball was still rolling on the ground. He tagged him out, but he waved it off because he called time. Why he called time, I don't know, but he did, so we had to deal with it.
So he didn't tell you if he was calling time to like throw a new ball and play, or if he had seen him?
Yeah, I mean, usually, I'll ask for a ball and they call time, whatever. Usually it doesn't happen where the guy, thinks he's out, runs off the base, and they tag him. So it just, got blown up because of that. So yeah.
What did you make?
Dodger Padre games have an edge to them that you probably don't get with most of your other opponents. What these games against them? How is it different?
I mean, we pretty much get everyone's A game. Everybody comes in here is ready for a fight with us. Even when we go on the road. So we get everyone's A game. It's a good ball club over there. Games are always back and forth. They're fun. Two good teams going at it. So they're fun games.
How do you think the umps handle just the hit by pitches and the warnings that's out there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Doc was not happy about it. I think later in the game, Sauer hit Iglesias. Right after he scored a few runs, took a big lead. There's no intent right there hitting him. So I thought that was a good job. They didn't, throw him out because we need a guy, eat up some innings for us. So, yeah.
Do you guys think there was intent on the one that hit Otani?
You never fully know. I'm not saying it did. Not saying it didn't. I mean, who knows? I have no idea.
Doc doesn't. What was that? Just that at bat where you hit the home run, kind of grinding through the foul balls. Like, how do you approach a situation like that when you're staying alive and looking for a pitch to hit?
Yeah, he was making good pitches. He's got a really good fastball. He was able to foul off one splitter. Was able to connect on the heater.
Doc doesn't get ejected very often. The first time it happened this year. Does that motivate you when he gets fired up like that and goes to bat for you guys and gets tossed?
I mean, yeah, he's got our back, all the time. We love him. Yeah, I mean, it got us no more fired up, I would say. But, we love the passion. We love, his commitment to winning and competitiveness, standing up for what's right. So, we know when he's mad, it's probably something's gone wrong.
Yeah, a lot of star power in your lineup, and now Pa has big night tonight. The progression of that young guy, how have you seen that come to fruition?
Yeah, he's been great, all year. His rookie year last year, he had spurts of really being good. You could see the talent. So he's continued to get better. He's continued to be more consistent. We're seeing the best of him right now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Will. Dave, can you take us through what took place there when the warnings were issued and what Tripp Gibson may have said to you to set you off?
Yeah, just to kind of give an overview, Andy was hit last night. I feel he overreacted. We moved on. We ended up hitting a player, Tatis, unintentional. In that spot, we don't want a guy on base, certainly him, bleeding into their guys in the middle part of the order. And then at that point in time, Shohei comes up with the base open, and Vasquez took one shot at him, and and then hit him again. And it's very hard to miss that bad with the right-handed pitcher. So for me, it's, you know, if you're going to do it, own it, and there's no misfire, right? And then I just felt that I didn't feel a warning on both sides was warranted, number one. And so I just wanted to know an explanation. I wanted an explanation on their thought process. I didn't come in hot, I just wanted to know why they issued. And at that point in time, I realized later I got tossed, which I didn't understand or appreciate. And even looking back and to see Mike get the opportunity to talk to umpires after I was tossed and their explanation, and he was still in the game. So I think what anyone wants is consistency, right? And so for me is I wanted an explanation, you know, what's going on forward in their decision making, and I got run. And so for me, it's just there was no consistency, and I just wanted feel for the game, and that's what I asked for, and I feel we didn't get it.
So your opinion was that the hit by pitch on Otani?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this guy, he hasn't come close, and for me, it's like if they feel that's warranted on their side, part of baseball, if that's what they feel, and I give them credit because they hit him in the leg, own it, and we move on. But it's not a misfire. I do feel it was intentional, and again, that's part of baseball, which we all understand.
When did you realize you got tossed, and kind of what?
Marvin told me I got tossed, kind of when I was trying to question, and yeah.
You weren't usually one to like sort of get animated with these umpires. Like it was just a lack of consistency.
I'm a big lack of consistency. I'm very big on common sense, and so for me, for them to issue warnings, I feel it's common sense for me to ask their thought process and hold them accountable to their decision. That's all I wanted to know, and I was going to stand aside. And then again, I see the opposing manager get the same courtesy of explanation and stays in the game. So there's just no consistency with that. So that's kind of my, you know, but again, back to the game or to the game, I thought we fought, guys laid it out there. The pitching, we found a way. Will had a huge night. Andy had a huge night, big defensive plays, and it was a fun game. Unfortunate to watch from my office, but our guys really played well, and Mark and Danny from the bench did a fantastic job of managing the pen, and huge win.
Andy said he wasn't more motivated after last night, and he saw this clip of what Show was yelling at him during his thing with C's. Do you buy that, or could you sense a little more kind of hunger from him tonight?
You know, I don't know. Well, whatever it was, whatever it tapped into or didn't tap into, he really had a big night and he came prepared, and it's been fun watching him play baseball.
When you were watching the game in your office and Will Smith's going through that at-bat against Estrada in the 6th inning, what was going on in the office and your emotions through those 12 pitches?
I was with Alex Torres, our clubhouse manager, and I might have made my first home run call of the night, or of the season. So, yeah, I just saw the at-bat. I just saw that he was kind of bearing down, locking in, and you know, you can put it up there for at-bat of the season.
When you guys were in New York against the Mets, you and Tripp had a conversation too, because he called that obstruction on Muncy. Do you think that carried over at all for either of you?
I don't think so. And you know what? To be quite honest, I didn't remember that was Tripp. And no, he's a pro. I don't think that carried over or he has any ill will versus us. I just felt in this specific moment, I felt that I didn't agree with their decision, and I think that's my prerogative.
Has playing the Padres so many times in such a short window in June kind of stirred emotions up?
I think probably. I think that when you get familiar with an opponent, that's kind of the natural kind of progression, I guess. You know, we just saw these guys 3 days, and you know, these games are certainly meaningful. So extra emotion, I'm sure, yeah.
Coming into today, did you expect to be using Tanner 3 days in a row?
No, but I felt that if it called for it to win a game in big spots, he was going to be available, and he takes care of himself and it's been well worth it.
Bullpen game, yesterday essentially, and today, we're part of the plan. But how do you feel about the pitching for the rest?
I feel great with what we've done. Emmett's going to start tomorrow, which is exciting, and Robo's going to pitch bulk, and then we'll kind of see where we go from there.
Did you clock Schilt getting to talk to them when you were walking off the field, or did you see that once you got back in your office?
I saw that when I got back in my office. Thanks, guys.
Mike, you guys have obviously 2 more games here. Based on your sense of just the emotions of the series so far, what's your concern level that this stuff could keep happening these next 2 nights?
It's not very high, actually. I mean, we're going to play the game. We're going to play the game hard. We're going to play the game to win, and it's a man's game that we like to play with childlike enthusiasm. But, the thing that I can only control is how we compete. And, our track record with me being in this seat and my track record being in this seat over a number of years now, this is not a club that we're not going to take anything. We're not going to start anything. We're not going to be pushed around. We're going to go play the game clean and go play it on that baseball field. So, we also have a lot of professionals on both sides of the ball, and I can't speak for the respect level for us. I would guess it's pretty high, but I have a lot of respect. I talked to Freddie at first base, real quickly, and there's a lot of professionals on both sides of the ball that understand how this game's played and really just want to play the game, and compete fiercely and, see who comes out on top.
They've got a lot of star power in their lineup that can make opposing managers squirm a bit. And now you have a guy like Pages, a young guy that not everybody knows much about. Where does he fit in that equation, in that lineup?
He told us he's fitting in pretty good. He's had a nice season. He's, he the ball the other way. Staying on the ball. He's got some clear pop in his bat. Looks like he's definitely competing. So he's a good player. One of the things that they have is they have length in their lineup. They definitely, like we do, have a lot of star power. And there's no shortage of supply of, perennial all-stars and future Hall of Famers getting paraded out on that baseball field every night when we play this group. They have a really deep lineup, which is able to turn it over for their guys with more of the, posters that, their names are on. But, Pages lengthens it out. They got Conforto, Kiki down there that can interchange, and, Tommy's a threat. I've had Tommy before leading off, so him hitting ninth is probably a pretty good lineup.
So